Hello everyone, welcome to the practice exam function for the task exam. We're gonna have question number one, which of these tables or values represent a function, right? Now function is a rule that assigns exactly one output for each input. So we shouldn't have two outputs, right? Outputs for one input. If we check A, we get like 3 has 2, we get like 3, right? For x has output 2, we got 9 has 4, and we got -6 has 8, and we have 3 has 9. We really have 3 has 2, so 3 has two outputs, right? Has 2 and has 9, because 3 is the same thing as this one. All right, for B, we have like -4 has 8, we have -2 has 4, we have 0 has 0, and we have -2. We really have -2 here, so -2 has two outputs, has 4 and -4, and therefore B is wrong. For C, the same thing. We have 8 has 6, 6 has 8, 4 has 8, and 8 has 4. And we already have 8 here, which has 6 and has two outputs, right? So that's why C is wrong. So the only one we have left is D, right? Because every input has exactly one output. So 2 has 6, and 2 has 24, and 8 has 24, 10 has 30, and -6 has its output, which is 9. So as we can see, we have like exactly one output for each input, right? So D will be the correct answer. Number 2, which of these sets of ordered pairs represent a function, right? Well, we can see that B, has like 6 here and 6 here and 6 here. So 6 has like 4 outputs, has like 1, has -8, has -3, and that's good enough to cancel B, right? For C, we have 9 has 2 and 9 has -1. So we have two outputs for one input, for one x. So as we can see, we got 2 and -1 are the outputs for one x, which is 9. So that's why C is wrong. For D, the same thing. We have 8 has 1 and 8 has 3, right? So D is wrong, and we get only A is going to be the correct answer because every input has exactly one output. All right, so for question number 3, given the relation G represented by this point, -4, 5, A2, A7, 1, 3, which replacement for A, right, for A makes this relation a function, right? So we have, as we can see, we have A, can be either 1, right, or 2, or -4, and 8. Right, so let's try to write the x's here. Like, remember we have x and y, we have x and y, and so on, right? This is going to be like x and y, and this is x and y. So the x's here is going to be like -4, 8, a, and 1, right? For the y's, let me just like change this here. So for the y's here, we have 5. We have 2, we have 7, and we have 3. So we know that -4 with 5, we have 8 with 2, and 1 with 3. Now, in order to have this one as function, A can be either 1 or 2 or -4 and 8, right? If A is 1, for example, right? If it's 1 here, we really have 1 here. So we have 1 goes with 3, so we're going to have 1 goes with 7, and that's not a function, right? So A would be wrong, right? And if we have 2 here, if I have 2 here, let me just like change this one here. So if I have 2, this is A here. So if I have 2 here, which is instead of A, right? That's going to make a function because every input has exactly one output here, right? And we don't have other two. Unlike -4, for C is wrong because we have -4 here, right? And D is wrong because we really have 8 here. So 8 has output, which is 2. And if we choose D, we're going to have 2 outputs, which is like 2 and 7, which is, it doesn't represent a function. So the answer would be B, right? So 2, if we replace A with 2, that's going to make this function as, this relation as a function, right? So for question number 4, which graph does not represent a function? And the best way to answer this question is to use a vertical line test, like vertical line test. Vertical line test. And now on the vertical line test, I mean, if intersect or cut the graph in 2 points or more, it means the graph does not represent a function, right? So the vertical line test, it tells us, that whether the relation or whether the graph represents a function or not, right? So for example, if I choose A here, if I have like in a vertical line test, as we can see, it's intersect the graph in 1 point only. So that's function. We have no problem, right? For B, right, that's going to be right here. So as we can see, if I choose any vertical line here, it's going to intersect the graph in 2 points here. So the answer will be B, because the graph B does not represent a function. Why? Because if I use a vertical line test, it's going to intersect the graph in 2 points. So that's not a function. So the answer will be B. All right, for question number 5, for the function gx equals 3x minus 21, what is g to the 6, right? So what we have to do here, we have to replace x, right, with 6. As we can see here, we're going to replace x with 6. So it's going to be, so g to the 6 here, that's going to be like 3 times 6 here minus 21. 3 times 6 is going to be 18. Take away 21. The answer is negative 3. And the answer would be A. For question 6 is similar to question 5. We get f for the function fx equals 2/3 x plus 14, where is f of 18, right? So we're going to substitute x by 18. So we get f of 18. We get 2/3 times 18, right, plus 14, right? But we can simplify. We know 3 goes to 18 like 6 times here. So it's going to be like 2 times 6 is going to be 12 plus 14. And the answer is 26. So the answer will be C. All right, so for question number 7, the function below can be used to predict the number of antibodies that should be present in patient's blood, D for days, right, after taking a particular medicine. So the function fd equals 60D plus 100. Using the given function, how many antibodies are predicted to be in the patient's blood after 11 days? Well, we know we use equation. We use the equation to predict values. So since we have D, they're asking us about, to predict the patient's body, the patient's blood after 11 days. So it means we have to substitute D, which is represent days, by 11, right? So what is f of 11 here? So f of 11, that's going to be like 60 times 11 plus 100, all right? So 60 plus times 11, that's going to be like 660 plus 100, and the answer will be 760, right? In this question, we need to fill this one in this box here. So make sure you bubble it correctly. So you can write it this way, like 760. Okay, it's gonna be so make sure. This is like especially when you have like a written exam, not a computer exam. So you may have this type of questions here, right? So you get 7 here. You look for 6 here, make sure you bubble it correctly, right? And you have 0 for the third column there. It's going to be like 0, right? Or you can write it this way. You can write it this way, and both of them are correct, right? Let me just erase this one here. Okay, you can write it this way. You can write 7, 760, like this, okay? So you get 7 here, you get 6 here, and the third column, right, we get 0. So either way would be correct. All right, so let's do question number 8. Which of the following solutions will belong to the solution set for the linear function associated with the table of values below, right? Well, first of all, if I want to know, which point can be the solution for this table, I need to find the equation that's represented by this table. So I need to find the equation of line, right? And the first thing to find equation, in order to find equation, which is, let's suppose I'm looking for the y-intercept. I mean, the slope-intercept form, which is like y equals mx plus b. So I need to find the slope, which is m, and the y-intercept, right? So let's do this. Let's try to find a slope here. Let's choose like 2 points here, all right? Let me choose like 4 and 11, right? And 5 and 15, right? And you can choose any 2 points from the table. So it's going to be like so m will be like y2. That's m y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? So it's going to be like 15 minus 11 over 5 minus 4. And 15 take away 11, that will be 4 over 1, and the answer is 4. So the slope is going to be 4. All right, so this is the equation here. It's going to be like y equals 4x plus b. Now I'm looking for b here. I'm looking for b. So I can choose any point I want, to substitute x, like let's suppose I choose like 4 and 11, so I can substitute x by 4 and y by 11 in order to find b, right? So we can do that. So it's gonna be right, a second. This is gonna be I'm gonna choose this point right here. So this is gonna be like 11, and x will be replaced by 4, and I will look for b. So 4 times 4 plus b, and this is going to be 11 equals 16 plus b, right? We subtract 16 from both sides, and we're going to have negative 5 equals b, right? So the equation of line that I'm looking for, it's going to be right here. All right, let me just erase this one here. So that's going to be, all right, it's going to be negative 5. That's negative 5. So 4x, y equals 4x minus 5, right? And I can choose any point I want here, like which one will make this one correct. And A will be the correct one, because if I substitute x by 3, I will get 7, right? So y equals 4 times 3 minus 5, and that would be 12 minus 5, which is 7. That's exactly what we have here. And that's why A would be the correct answer.